Hi, this is Paul at PATools, and this is an introductory video to using macros. Those who remember Lotus 1, 2, 3 and writing macros remember what fun it was to create macros inside a workbook on your worksheet that you can use to automate tasks. And we've brought back a facility very similar. The first thing we recommend you do is that you go here and open macros and just click on help, and that will open up our web page, which has got the list of all the commands and instructions, as well as a more detailed video. In essence, to create a macro, all you do is just start typing. So we want, let's do a very simple macro here that's just going to make that lot bold. G to R4. So we just type in G4 to R4, somewhere like this. In the second column we do font equals, and in the third column we're going to say bold, B. And that is how these macros work. In the first column you basically put in a range that will be selected. You then say what's to be done, and the next two columns are used for parameters. Now, to make this into macro so we can use it, we have to name the range. So we put macro. It must start with the word macro, and this will be make it bold. It can be any name you want. And now if we click on macros here, under the macros tab, you will see a list of macros that are in this workbook, and they all begin with an @ sign. So here's the one, make it bold. So we can either double click it or we can click on run. We do yes, and you'll see it has gone and selected G4 to R4 and made it bold. We will now look at a slightly more complicated one. Here's a simple demo. So now what we're doing is we're saying rows 1 to 4, the font will be bold. Column F, the font will be bold. At G29, we enter equals sum of G5 to G28. So it's going to go in there and add up this column. We stay in the same place and we do copy, and we paste it across from H29 to S29. We then select row 29 and make it all bold. We go to S5 and we enter, so we're now going to go over here and we're going to add up a crossways and make it bold, and at the end we'll just make it auto width. And you'll see here it's not case sensitive, so it doesn't matter whether we use lowercase, uppercase or a mixture of case. We can have lowercase like this. So let's just run this macro, which is called macro tidy table. Macro tidy table. We're warned there's no undo, and you'll see that it's gone and made rows 1 to 4 entirely bold. It's added in formulas here, adding up the columns. It's added up inserted formulas here, adding up the rows, copied it down, put in total for the year. And if we wanted the word total in there, we could just do F29, enter total, like that. If I run this macro again, macro tidy table, it's now inserted the word total there. There is finally one longer demo to show you here with a rather more complicated programming, but still quite simple to read. You can basically work out what it's going to do. It's going to enter my company name, font, auto width. It sets up a counter and uses that after the word region. Goes down 1, enters region and the counter. Counter begins at 1 and increments by 1. You can see there's some colouring, some formatting going on in here. We're even going to copy this cell somewhere else and paste the formats. F1 we copy, go to O5 and paste just the formats. So let's just run this macro, which is create sales table, and you'll see how this one runs. It prompts us for entry into I5. I'll put in number 1, and lo and behold it's created a whole table of data here with formatting, various colours, and put in above target because it's used an if statement at the bottom here. It goes to O19, and if it's greater than 3000 it goes to O21 and enters above target. And then that if statement completes and finishes. There's a more detailed video on our web page. The final thing to say is that of course these macros you can move around. So if we didn't want it here, we could go Control X and put it on a separate tab of macros wherever we want. We could put it over here. It doesn't have to be column A, and that's called macro tidy table. The name's gone with it. Or if we wanted to store it outside the workbook, we can select it, go into macros, go into add, and enter a name for it, my new macro, and it's picked it up and put it in there for us. And in here, if you want to edit it, you can edit it. If I wanted to make that bold and italics, I can put BI. These are tabs between the columns, and you can save it. And that's now saved without an at sign, so that shows it's saved separately and independent of this workbook, but can be played on any workbook on any sheet. You can edit it and change it if you want to. You've got 9 groups of macros that you can use here, and then there's also formulas and text files, which you can see in the longer video how you can use those. That's it for now. I hope you enjoy using the macros. It's all trial and error. Just get started. Thanks for watching.